All right, here we go. Question number 1. You get cast in your dream role, right? Like this is a huge movie. You love the character, you love the script, all that. But then you find out it requires nudity. Are you still in?
Yeah.
Nice. Didn't even hesitate.
No.
Someone's probably got some decent nipples then.
Some. Not even two, just some.
Some decent nipples. That's my determination when anyone's quick to say, yeah, I'll get naked. They're confident in their nipples. Because me, I'm the opposite though. I don't like my nipples at all. But if it was below the waist nudity, I would be like, sure, you can see my penis, my chest, my boobs. I don't know. I have to think twice.
What is it about them specifically that you don't?
I like how you got a little bit louder on the nipple question. It felt like
about your own nipples. What?
Well, when they're hard, they're fantastic. Okay, but at rest, at chill mode, they're just a little big, a little puffy. Not like big. They're not like huge, but they're not. I'd like them to be a tiny bit smaller, but they're just a little. The funny thing is, as I'm saying this, I am now remembering the one TV role I've ever done in my life. Yeah. My nipples are exposed. What am I saying? I was on an episode of Chicago Med. I had a couple lines before my character blacked out and they did surgery. They did heart surgery on my character. I was Tim Vance. I got stabbed in a game of pool. Dr. Choi? I feel like that's racist because he's Asian. Is it definitely? I think it's Choi. The actor's name was Brian T. He was a really nice dude. And the actress, the nurse she was a doctor too. Nia, or her name is. They're both lovely. Everyone on set was really cool. And I had to take my shirt off to cut me open. So I say that I wouldn't want to be shirtless, but I was. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
That's so cool. That's what an awesome thing to have been on. Very cool.
Wasn't even a dream role, but you'd go full frontal or just topless?
Whatever. If it's a dream role, then
it's a dream role,
I must have determined that it was, significant, or what is it called? Is it meaningful to the script? Does it elevate? Does it, sure.
There you go. So you're not just doing it to be prostitute number 2 on the Game of Thrones reboot.
If at that point in my life that was my dream role, I would still do it.
See, I like the honesty.
Could I have a clause that once they saw it, I couldn't be fired?
Shut up. Like they're gonna be like, we were expecting a different body under those clothes. Get out of here. Come on now. Mm-hmm. Fishing for compliments, I feel like you are. All right, question number 2. Standard question I like to ask people. What's your favorite moment in your career? What's your favorite moment in your comedy career, you being a comedian?
Oh. So far, right? So far.
Yeah, I mean, do you have a future moment coming up that's your favorite? That doesn't add up.
Do. I project. I dream about it. Of course.
There you go. Do you have a vision board?
I don't make fun of those. Do
you?
Yes, of course I do.
See, I kind of want to do one of those. I know so many comedians. They're mostly, I think I know 1 or 2 guys. Ron Funches, he has one. But Lisa Traeger's a good friend of mine. She does like a vision board.
Oh, she's so funny. Oh, man. So funny.
I know a lot of other people. I've talked about the law of attraction on this podcast with a few people. I'm pro it. It all makes sense to me.
It's just fun. It's fun arts and crafts and positivity.
But I really do think if you write stuff down, not to talk over you there, sorry about that. No. I really do believe if you write things down, you're more likely to achieve it because it's where your focus goes. It's also a reminder. I will write stuff. I don't do it as often though. I know some people it's their daily thing. When I remember, I try to be like, all right, I got some time. I'll, write down what I want to accomplish this month or any plans I might have to, put in motion. But then I started to write down stuff where it's like, I want to be more present. So, just by writing down, I want to be more present. That's in my head. So when I'm walking around during the day, I'm thinking to myself, no, be more present. Put your phone down. Be here in this moment, and I think that helps in general. If you write down, I want to eat healthy today. When you open the fridge and reach for, a fucking can of Coke, as you're picking it up, your brain's gonna be like, hey, you wrote you wanted to be healthy today, and then you're gonna be like, I'll put it back, right? And I'll reach for a glass of water or something. I don't know. I think that's cool that you do vision boards. That's my point.
Yeah. Thanks.
So what's been your favorite moment though? You're building a lot of suspense here with me stealing all the words.
I think my favorite moment so far was getting booked. My first week of co-featuring at Zany's Old Town, when I got that email from Bert Haas asking saying that he had heard good things about me on like showcases, and would I like to come work for a week in Old Town, doing, 10 minutes of material. And I think, and it was just being giddy at the end of that week, at the end of all those shows, and getting my check with the, with the logo. My photo is out front on Wells Street. It just all felt so very real. And I think it felt particularly great because I was still replaying how the bombing at the first showcase that I ever did, the Rising Star showcase there, like 2 years prior to that. It was so bad, Joe. It was so bad. And just to have come, I mean, it took 2 years, but from, oh my gosh, I'll never work here. What am I even doing? Do I even know what I'm doing? This is awful. This was terrible. Why was it so bad? And then 2 years later, getting to work there and then working there a lot now. So
that's amazing. Little life lesson for the kids. Don't give up. I could tell that meant something to you because your face lit up as you're talking about getting that email. And, for those who don't know, Zany's is the oldest comedy club in Chicago, the most legendary club in Chicago. And when you walk in, it really does feel like show business. It's got like a feel to it, a smell to it, and when you enter as a comedian, you have to go through the kitchen, which they always say, you're not in show business until you have to walk through the kitchen to get to where you got to get to get to the stage.
Oh.
And the walls are just covered with headshots of some of the most famous comedians. Everyone who's on that wall is a comedian who's been paid to work there. So that was always a big get for me too when I started doing stand-up comedy, especially being from Chicago, starting in Chicago, was got to get my picture on the wall at Zany's one day. So to have that, I understand what that's like. That's a really badass feeling.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You got a good one. That's a good one right there. All right. Question number 3. What is your who am I saying? What? Who is your favorite band?
Oh, Joe.
You give me a top 3 if you can think of one.
I love music so much. Oh, man. I love the band Traffic from the 70s. The rock, the Low Spark of High Heel Boys. Do you know that album?
I don't really know that. No.
I'm upset. I just love that album. Oh, so it's like Steve Winwood and friends. Like,
Steve Winwood sings Higher Love, correct?
He also, this was before his solo career. He was in this band Traffic in the 70s. Low Spark of High Heel Boys. Highly recommend. Love it so much. What other band? There's so many. I'm so excited. I bought so many concert tickets this last
Who's your favorite right now?
Probably, I'm listening to a lot of Bahamas. Do you know that guy from Canada? Bahamas?
No, what style of music is this?
It's like electronica, rock.
Oh, okay.
Punk, fun. And I love the band Black Moth Super Rainbow. They're like funky, weird vocoder, electronica, but also rock. And Joe, I'm gonna.
Are you a club kid? Do you like a lot of EDM?
I love all music. And if I can dance to it, probably I love it more. But all the music.
I'm realizing, Katie, I've never partied with you. I want to go out with a group of comedians, and I want to see Katie a couple hours after a show. Are you a drinker or not really?
It depends if I like who I'm with, if I trust who I'm with, and if I know how I'm going to get home. And it's not an Uber. Ubers creep me out. I don't trust the Ubers. But if someone I know, if I can walk to where I'm going or get home, then yeah. Those are the conditions that got to be.
All right. No, those are smart. You're a very safe person. Why don't you have a house party?
Bus. Okay.
You have a party at your house. There's nothing safer than that. You put away Grandma's china behind you there so it doesn't get shattered or anything like that. Because after a certain amount of Jameson shots, I will be throwing those think plates, those little dinner plates, like saucers.
That's what they're for.
Right? Cool. All right. So no, you're gonna have a party at some time. I'm gonna after the podcast is over with, we're setting a date. I'm thinking
Really?
mid-August. We're
Okay.
going out to the miner's house.
Okay.
All right. If you could have a last meal, not if you could, but what you say you're on death row. What's your last meal?
Oh, Joe, there is a museum in Florence, Arizona, and that's one of the displays. That's one of the exhibits, is a list of all of the last meals of all of the death row inmates from this giant. It's so strange and haunting. If I had a last meal, well, obviously I'd want to postpone death as much as possible. So what takes the longest to eat? Like crab legs, I guess.
That's a good one.
I want to live.
Any kind of shellfish. You know what's hilarious about that? There was a TV show called Saving Hope on Fox that only ran for like 3 seasons. It's a funny show. It's the plot of it basically is this woman is on death row and she's trying to like stave off execution. So she escapes and immediately like gets impregnated by this random dude who's like an 18-year-old kind of like dopey, awkward guy. And so she's pregnant. They're not going to execute a pregnant woman. But then after she gives birth, she's trying to think of more ways to, again, not be executed. So for her last meal, she requested the Shamrock Shake and the McRib. And in the episode, it was funny because the one like warden or whatever was like, damn, those are seldom on the menu at the same time.
Seasonal.
You know what I mean? So they had to like wait for the McDonald's to have them both on the menu at the same time. That was obviously, which I don't think's ever happened, but I always thought that was like really clever writing.
That's very clever. I would just want it. I don't know. I'd care more about who I was eating with, really, than what it would be.
All right. So I kind of got a sense on how you're going to rank number 5 here. Question number 5, final question. This is the first time I'm doing this one, but I think I want to make it kind of a staple. Rank in order 1 through 4 of these 4 categories. What's best to worst? 1 being the best, 4 being the worst. Food, sleep, sex, or taking a really good dump. Rank.
There's
1 through 4.
1 through 4?
Because those are all pretty great things.
Well, you need to do them all to really.
Yeah, you do. That's why it's tough.
Person.
Right. That's why it's a tough one.
If
I threw a random stupid one in there, that's not fun.
I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to. You clearly are doing the work.
I didn't roll out of bed and just fucking throw these questions out there.
You looked me up on Twitter. There's lots of research that has gone into this. Respect. Can you say them again?
Okay. In any order you want. Food. By the way, I'm noticing that when you turn your head, you sound so much better in your microphone lapel. I think the audio is going to be fine overall, listeners. But if you're listening and you notice there's certain times when Katie sounds really, really good. I've noticed it's because you're turning your head right into the little mic on your headphones there. Anyhow, only took me to the end of the podcast to realize that. You're good. Don't worry about it. And if the audio is bad, then I'll end your career. You know, I'm kidding, Katie. So rank in order: food, sleep, sex, taking a really good dump.
Food, sleep, sex.
And again, there's no right or wrong to any of this because these change all the time depending on mood. Right? I'll make you feel better.
Today. Oh, you're going to tell me yours first?
I was going to say, just for an example, like today, sleep is definitely number 1 on my list. Right? Because, as much as I like sex, I need 8 hours of sleep. I don't want 8 hours of sex. 8 hours of sex is way too much. You'd be exhausted. You'd need sleep for 20 hours after 8 hours of sex. So sleep would be my number 1 in the way I'm feeling now because I'm tired. But ask me 2 days from now, if I'm all horned up a little bit, I might be like, sex is great. I'm going to go, I need that, So that helps you with your rankings. There you go.
I'm still laughing about when you and Kristen Toomey talked about, would you ever go on stage like slightly hard? whatever the equivalent of that is for a clit.
Oh, would I go on with a full on,
that was
and would she go on
hysterical.
wet?
Or a half. Yeah.
Or we get to be half? Well,
Or
I would definitely go on
whatever
half
whatever
because you
you
look
said.
great
Yeah.
as a dude. Because then the people in the crowd are like, is he like that all the time, or is he a little bit? Maybe that's just him. That's his walking around dick, right? That's what they're thinking, or they're thinking maybe he's slightly aroused.
That was
Right?
very funny. If you haven't listened to that episode, listen to that. Oh, I want all of those things right now.
Come on, Katie. Are you like nervous that people are going to like judge you for your order? Because I know you want to say taking a really good dump is your number one. We know that about you, Katie.
No, because it's not thrilling. I mean, I've never been thrilled to.
See, I'm thinking of one where you're like, oh, I need to get this out of me. And then once it's out, you're like, oh, yeah. That was... You know what the funny thing is? All
I've thought that
of the three...
sex before. God, get it out of me already.
See, I realized too about these, and yeah, this is the first. I feel bad because you're the guinea pig for this question. I've never asked this question before. All the other questions I've asked you, I've asked other guests in.
Oh, Joe, I have it.
All right.
I have it. So it's like a third date. It would be like food. It would be food. What'd you call it? Taking a dump. Food, dump, sex, sleep.
There you go. So sleep number 4 on your list of 1 through 4. Okay.
On this Tuesday, the 29th day of June.
There you go. So it's been said, so it's been written. It's now law. It is now law.
Omega.
Katie, it's so much fun to have you on the podcast.